pass in the basket for a love offering, um, and as always, we know that the abundance we share with is the abundance that goes out. It's the abundance that comes back. It's this circle of life, this circle of giving, this circle of sharing. And what we put our energy into, the beauty, the art, the love, the connection, the abundance, is what we then in turn see come back in fuller and greater and full measure into our lives. Love, abundance, graciousness, art, beauty, kindness. Did I say love? Yeah, that's a theme. So, and Lori, am I introducing you to? Are you playing in this part too?
Maybe.
I love this. Okay, Swil Kanin.
Thank you. So before I get started, before this morning, was there anybody who has not seen me perform before? If you could raise your hand. Okay. So before this morning, if you have not seen me perform before, and they already raised their hand, that's great. And there's double hands back there in the booth. So for those of you who have seen me perform before, I apologize in advance. In the most normal way, I usually introduce myself with a story, and in the Lummi tradition, this is considered a short story in that it's less than 3 days long. And it goes like this. Yeah, this would be a good time to take a potty break if you have seen my story before. I'm just kidding. A long time ago, there was a tree. A big tree. No, we're talking a huge tree that was once an itty bitty little seedling. It survived that first winter. It learned how to bend with the wind. Seasons would come and go, years would go by. Eventually, children would play underneath the tree. And they'd grow up and their children would play underneath the tree. And they'd grow up and their children would play underneath the tree. Little itty-bitty songbirds built pretty little nests in the highest branches of the tree so they could peek over the edge of the nest and sing their pretty little songbird songs. And they went something like this. Chirp! Chirp! Squirrels would run up and down the tree for no apparent reason. Someone put a swing on a branch so everyone could feel the summer breeze right along with that tree until one winter the northeaster was just too much and the tree fell. A woman walked by. Her name is Dorothy Smith. She looked at that tree and she said, "You know, I think there's a violin inside that tree." So with her magic hands, she reached inside the tree and she pulled a violin out because that is what she was created to be, a violin maker. She made violins to be played at sacred moments and special places like this. What makes this a sacred moment? What makes this a special place? It's your choice and my choice. For how could I hope for a sacred life if I can't hold a single moment as sacred? How can I love all of creation if I forget about the trees all around us, holding the sky up for us? Now, the rest of that tree It made toilet paper. This is the tree that Dorothy Smith found for you and for me. Yes, if you look at it closely, you can see that there are lines in the grain of the wood. Every line in the grain of wood is a symbol of a winter survived. You see, even trees make their mark during the toughest of times. Even trees make their mark during the toughest of times. That's what I sounded like when I first started. My foster parents, they were like, son, please practice. Practice, practice, practice. Just don't practice while we are home. I tell this story because I believe that honor is in the spirit of a complete communication, the whole story. Not just the story that's told from the beginning until the end, but rather a story that is told from a diversity of perspective. My name is Richard Marshall, but that is just my name. Who I am, my identity, is Swil Kanin. That's my Lummi name. Now, some would say that I'm part Nooksack, part Upper Skagit, part Samish, part Swinomish. I don't know what part of me is which. I guess that means that I am everyone I am, not part anyone. Like in the spirit of we, the people, we are everyone we are, not part anyone. We are all of our stories, all of our victories, no matter how small. In 1983, Native elders met at the University of Lethbridge to address substance abuse and abuse throughout North America. They looked at all the causes and effects, and they concluded the hurt of one is the hurt of all, and the honor of one is the honor of all. The moment I heard that phrase, I immediately thought, what if? What if the honor of all really is the honor of all? What if I honor the skills, gifts, talents that got me through the most difficult times of my life? Maybe that might inspire others to do the same. Maybe if I share my skills, gifts, and talents, maybe they may be inspired to share their skills, gifts, and talents that got them through the most difficult times. And maybe, just maybe, that might inspire someone else, and so on, and so on, and so on. And then it occurred to me, honor really is a fabric, a blanket, if you will, that wraps the whole world. There's an abundance of honor in this world. And even though I sense the scarcity or the holes in the fabric, I also know that every hole can be mended with intention. We can make honor be the primary value of all if we learn the importance of honoring ourselves. From that, we can connect to one another. From that, we can allow for every thread to be a pipeline that love flows through. From our individual honoring of ourselves, we can be present to the honor of others. It's possible. It's necessary. It is necessary for you to honor yourself. So this is my version of a piece I wrote called The Honor of All. So my intention is to love you, right? Through my honor, to love you. And that doesn't mean like, yo baby, I love you, right? I mean, I want to make the pain of your life worthwhile. And one way to know that is to know what you need from me. So I'm going to ask you, what do you need to hear? What? My violin and the drum? Okay, hon, could you get the drum out? Yes. Yeah. Come on up. Here. Okay, so how can you call me a turkey in the most honorable way? Okay. Okay, so the neat thing about what I'm about to do is that there's really no wrong way for you to do this, okay? I mean it, okay? I'm skilled enough to be able to work around whatever you do. That's just what I do. This is like what I like to call just like we practiced. Did we practice? No, right? But it's just like we did, right? So you know how to hold the drum, and let's see if you can hit it. Not that way. I'm just kidding. You did just right. That was perfect. You see, it's not so bad. They'll just laugh at you if you make a mistake. That's what they'll do. They'll just laugh joyously at you if you make a mistake. So, yes, this is entertainment. Okay, so, and remember, this is to me a need, and a real need. It's not a joke that you wanted to hear the drum and the violin, right? It was fun to bring you up here. It was fun to sit down. But I want to honor that sacred statement of need. It's a beautiful thing. It's an honor to me that you would want to do, that you would need the heartbeat, and not only that I would trust you to bring up, and that you trust me enough to call me a turkey, and know that I know that comes out of love, right? So, and by the way, that's an eagle on there. It's not really a turkey, just so you know. Okay, good. So, what we'll do is we'll just make up a piece. I mean, I have an idea what I want to play, but I don't know until you give me the heartbeat. So here's how that works. Just rumble. Can you rumble? Okay. Then I'll start playing the violin, and then you can assume a beat, any beat. Try to keep it steady. Try to keep it even, right? Don't give it a heart attack. Right? Just keep it steady and even, and then I'll create a piece around that beat. Okay? So, rumble. Oh, and then when at the end, when it's obviously the end, or if you get tired of me playing, just rumble again. Okay? And that'll be how we conclude the piece. No pressure, nothing. Really, no pressure, right? Okay, so can we accept this moment? Can we be in this moment together? Okay, we got this. Just like we practiced. Thank you. Thank you. So is there anybody here in the statement of her need that needed to hear that needed to experience that? The premise I want to clarify is that in the statement of need, in the statement of our needs, we meet the needs of others that don't have the ability to state that need. Right? It's important. What if our needs were sacred? Who are we to hold that back? What if I believed a lie that no one would want to hear my violin music? What if I believed a lie that no one would care for me? What if I believed the lie that no one as beautiful and as kind as Lori could be my wife? It's miserable, right? And that's why stating the needs, your needs, as sacred, as special, find a safe place to state your needs. Because when you do that, when you have a safe place to say, this is what I need, the violin and the drum, something seems so simple, but it was a sacred need for many. When we do that, we change the world. This is what I mean by that. People say bad things about me behind my back. It's true. Just ask any of my ex-wives. They've witnessed it. Right? But when people say good things about me behind my back, the world is changing. And I offer the same thing about you. Be who you are so that we can freely say good things about you behind your back. Right? So that we absolutely, right? Because that's how the world changes. That's how we all become freely able to state our needs. Now, how did I know that someone would tell me what they need? Because I had a need too. Right? I had a need for this kind of connection, this purpose. And because I trust myself enough to state my needs by just asking, what are your needs? Because it's one thing for me to come in here, be awesome. But if I come in here, be awesome, and fulfill your needs, I can leave here in that awesomeness. Ness is the spirit of, or the messiness of that, right? So if I can take that awesomeness with me, it takes courage to state a need. You gotta tap into your heart to state a need. I shared earlier the Amazing Grace story where I was $300 short on rent. And before all was said and done in that story, by stating my needs, I wasn't even stating my needs in the kindest way. It's like I was holding it against him, right? But I did state my need. I need $300 for rent. You got that in your pocket, right? That whole attitude was there. I didn't have to have a perfect attitude in the statement of my needs. And still, the providence of God, the providence of love, the providence of honor, the providence of faith, of hope, of trust, the providence provided enough. So I offer, as we state our needs, that you're helping other people out. Now, There was one man that I had a conversation with as he walked toward my empty violin case. There was that one man, but you know what? There was a whole bunch of people behind him that didn't even exist when I started. The providence of the universe is real. It's real. The providence of love. My God is love. That's the scripture. God is love. Now, what if God really is love? Right? What if? That means the love you have for someone else is my God, worthy of my highest praise. Even if I don't understand that love, like, dude, why do you love that guy? If I don't understand that love, that makes that love even more powerful to me. If I don't understand the love that someone else has for another, like, there are times when I wonder, Lori, why do you love me? And I'm on stage. I brought my violin. You're seeing me at my best. Lori's laughing already. You're seeing me at my best, right? And so in that way, I'm lovable. But this woman has experienced the worst of me and still loves me. And that love transforms me. And now, here I am talking about this love. And we're all going, God, that's so awesome, right? The mystery of that love is my God. How could, and you know, all it takes is for the Mariners to go through another losing streak, and you'll see me at my worst, right? She knows that. She knows. And trust me, it even gets worse than that, right? But she still loves me. She makes the pain of my life worthwhile. And I've experienced a lot of pain in my life, a lot of loss, but it all is worthwhile in this love. There was a time in my life when I was homophobic. I was in a play about racism. I was an actor in a play about racism. And the white guy in the play, man, he got a lot of bashing in this play, right? And his name was Rick Turner, phenomenal man. Rick Turner and I were baseball fans. And we were going to a baseball game together. And he used to be a baseball announcer. And so he knew a lot more about the game, a lot more about the players, and a lot more about, he knew so much about baseball. And we're driving to the game, and I'm like, so, you know, Rick, why are you in this play? Like, of all the plays, you're obviously a talented actor. Why, as a white guy, are you in this play? And this is what he said. Well, I think it's important that we address all forms of bigotry and racism and prejudice. All forms? So, but why do you think that? And he goes, what, dude, you know I'm gay, right? And I said, no, you can't be gay. I love you. It challenged every thought I had about God. So those prejudices still come up. Now, if you can imagine this love that Lori has for me and this love I have for her, but still I can res up. Ooh, that was an interesting thought. That was a bloop. I can go back to my prejudice. I can go back to my bigotry. And I can be angry about someone else's racism toward me, and I'll put it out on all white people. She still loves me because she sees me on the other side of my woundedness. She knows I will honor myself eventually. And she's patient and kind to me. So when I say the worst of me, yeah, from my woundedness, I can be prejudiced. I can be a bigot. I can be stupid. But she also knows that I can state my needs. She knows that I know how to do that in her presence. She knows how to state her needs. Sometimes it's like pulling teeth. Sometimes it's without words. I remember not long ago, we were in our motorhome. We live in a motorhome parked in Ferndale. And there was literally 40 days of rain and 40 nights of rain directly. Like, it was just like scriptural moment. And our RV park was next to the transit center, and there were signs there, this is a flood zone. Well, we had a little elevation there, so we thought, yeah, that's going to be all right. And then Lori said, I'm thinking I'm going to go outside and see how the transit station's doing. And she opened the door, and there was water at our doorstep. She looked out over, and she could see all the RVs all around us were in water. And we flooded. We were hoping we weren't going to float away. It just kept coming up and kept coming up. We even took a little nap. And usually, sometimes if I have a hard time sleeping, I'll put on headphones or earphones, AirPods, and I'll listen to, soothing music. Now I can't even listen to that soothing music anymore because a lot of them have bubbling creeks going by, right? Right? It's awful. It's like it's changed the way I have to, my sleep patterns have been affected ever since. We woke, we got rescued by, really good-looking firemen and all that, and it's like, whatever, dude. Lori grabbed a bag of rocks because she makes this beautiful artwork of rocks, and these are special rocks from people, right? So it was funny because, here's my violin, here's my dog, here's his dog carrier, here's some dog food and all that kind of stuff. And then here's this bag of rocks. And the guy was like, what? Oh, okay. It's like they were all special rocks to these people. And she carried the rocks away. And we went, people couldn't come rescue us because even where they took us to rescue us, there was no way to get to where we were, right, except by a particular van that knew the route out of there. It took us to the Lummi Casino, and we stayed there. I opened up my iPad, and I look at my Facebook feed, and we let them know that Lori put a picture of our motorhome in the water, and he said, "Well, this is what happened for us," and took a picture of the motorhome, and then I saw in my Facebook ads a picture of a motorhome that is the exact same model and year of the one that was in the flood. Only this one had all of the upgrades we were planning on doing to our old motorhome. Everything, flooring, painting, the roof, everything was fixed. And I said, Lori, look at this. And I showed it to her, and she goes, oh yeah, where's it at? Because usually those fancy motorhomes are like in Arizona or Florida or something. And I go, Marysville. And she's like, what? It's like, so Lori calls him. I said, you call. And she calls him, and she goes, well, I just want to know if you're able to show that motorhome. And maybe Lori should tell this. She tells this story a lot more clear. But he said, yeah, I'm still, but you're like number 70 on the wait list, right? There's 70 people in line and I said, well, put us on the list. But she said, put us on the list, but we're we were really hoping that that one was still available because we just lost ours, the exact same model in the flood. And he goes, what? We're putting you at the top of the list, right? Because I don't want to have to explain this motorhome to other people. And if you know what you want and you know you need it, you'll save it. But I can't show it to you yet because I have COVID. And she was like, yeah, we don't have money for it either, right? But we started a GoFundMe, right? And then, and the GoFundMe was like blowing up. And there was, within a couple weeks, we had like $10,000 in our GoFundMe, and people were starting to talk about it. And it was like $30,000, for this. And before all was said and done, we had enough money to pay off our old motorhome and pay cash for our new motorhome, right? So this is a lot like the Amazing Grace story, only the other thing is that all of those, every single donation on the GoFundMe had a little comment. I saw you 40 years ago at the Pike Place Market. I saw you like a long time ago. You played the violin with my son who was learning, and you gave him some lessons after a concert. Little stories about how I have been able to, how the honoring of my skills, gifts, and talents had an impact on someone else's life. So there may not be a lot of money in our bank account, but we know we're rich. We know we're cared for. We know we are in love. Almost everywhere we go, we experience the love of others. Again, why am I telling you this story? Trying to pray is praying, but intentionally praying and stating needs is transformational. It gives so many people an opportunity to be generous. Now, I'm not saying this because we need a whole bunch of money right now. I will let you know if we ever do, right? As a model for that, I will. I have a feeling if I ever need to do a fundraiser, this would be the perfect place for me to do that. And I'm telling you this to inspire you, to keep on being you. Because you being you is giving me confidence. Like we're leaving, are you feeling the same thing I'm feeling? Confident, right? We're leaving here knowing that there's a wake of generosity behind us. Yeah. And we love you, don't we, Lori? I said this to somebody else, and I shouldn't say this without Lori being present, but I felt like we found our home, right? And I can't wait to come back when JP's here, right? It's not normal, right? I do a lot of talking at churches and gatherings and communities and all this kind of stuff, but honestly, it just means so much to me how we were treated from the moment we stepped in, right? And then every word of that beginning, every word, every intention, it's what I'm thirsty for. It's what the world is thirsty for, right? So let's be generous. Trust that some people don't know how to state a need. Trust in your providence. Trust that you can provide a need they don't even know they have. I didn't even know I needed to be here until I came in here. And I'm leaving here with confidence. So let's look at that word confidence. I used to be a drill sergeant in the U.S. Army. I know it's a stretch, okay? I know. Like some of you are like, what? Yeah, it's like this. The next movement I will name, explain, have demonstrated, and you will conduct practical exercises and is whatever. Right? That's me being a drill sergeant, right? But here, all of the discipline I have is in the generosity. Here I feel like I am free to share the discipline of generosity, right? And gratitude. If you could understand that my elders, one of the first things they told me, Uncle Art Lane, maybe you knew him. He was a beautiful, where Smokey's fireworks is, Smokey's Fireworks. That was my Uncle Art's place, right? And his kids still run that place. And he was an amazing man. And I remember, there's so much I want to say about that. Now I'm going to exercise my discipline and choose the story I want to share. But I remember the first time he said, we had everything before money came, right? We had everything before money came. We had everything before money came. And I was like, yeah, Uncle Art, it's those darn white people, right? And he goes, no, it's not the white people. It's the money. Because the greed attached to the debt-based distribution of money, he was an economist, right? So the debt-based distribution of money caused people to override our already agreed upon trade routes and trade agreements that we had with other tribes. When money was introduced, it threw out the balance of our economy. Right where we are, there was an economy based on generosity and gratitude, the potlatch, the spirit of generosity and gratitude, like the relationship, like you are who you are, I am who I am. The mystery of our relationship to one another is the spirit of our relationship, right? So the spirit of generosity and me are two different things, but my relationship to generosity is the spirit of generosity, right? And the spirit of gratitude works that same way. My relationship to gratitude is the same way, the spirit of gratitude. So right where we are from the beginning of time was a sustainable economy based on the spirit of generosity and gratitude, the potlatch. And when money came, it didn't match. So they tried to outlaw the potlatch. But people still wanted to be generous. People still wanted to be gracious. They wanted to have gratitude. So there was no way they could really outlaw it, because we could be down to our last dollar and still be generous and still be thankful. We can still have gratitude. So that's just one of my teachings that I got from Uncle Art, from this place and space that we're in. And here we are surrounded by beautiful trees. Young babies just waiting to be old growth, right? We're surrounded by that. And if you ever doubt the spirit of generosity and gratitude, walk through an old growth forest. Let your exhale be their inhale. Let their exhale be your inhale. And your DNA is in those trees, just like my elders and ancestors' DNA is in the trees, the old growth forests especially. We can recognize that we are who we are. We can rethink that we are who we are. You are one with me. You are unified with my desire that we honor our elders, my ancestors. You can do that. Hey man, can I wear a cedar hat? Yes. Yes. If you're willing to honor, be present to and honor the honor of others, yes, wear cedar. If you're willing to be fully, in fact, it's kind of a code. Oh, that one knows. That one knows the power of roots, sharing. And more importantly, I think it's important that you get in touch with your ancestry while you wear cedar. Because of the cedar hat that I'm wearing, I got in touch with my elders and my ancestors. That's the story you could tell. That the love of a cedar tree, the love of the cedar people, changed your relationship to your history, your past, your stories, your identities. You can be all of who you are. And the cedar, the sacred cedar tree, can teach you that, can bring that back out of you. It can overcome the oppression that oppressed your identity. There's so much I could say and do, and I really am going to ask this question one more time. Are there any other needs that you may have in this room? And it can be an impossible need. There's no way Swil Kanin could provide that. And you're right, I can't. Maybe. Okay. Yes. Imagine the child standing at the edge of a river, and the time has come to test a hand-carved work of art on the water, knowing the mystery of the current will soon take the sum of all the trials away to a place unknown. The soothing voice of an elder behind the child says, "This is good. Your canoe will soon flow to your ancestors and bring them great joy. I am the child, and this is a little boat in the big river." Did you notice how confident I was that I could do that, the impossible need? So let's look at that. What does it mean to be confident? If I tell you something in confidence, it's between you and me, right? If I tell you something in confidence, it's between you and me. Some people would even convert it to a secret or something. But I would say that what's between you and me is what's between you and me. So if I tell you something in confidence, that's a story between you and me. So self-confidence is the story I tell myself. Every time I play the violin, I recognize that every empty seat is filled by the spirit of my elders and my ancestors. So I already knew the room was, just like you said, I already knew the room was full, right? Because I agreed to show up. When I agree to show up someplace, my ancestors, my elders, they show up first, and miracles happen when that happens. In our journeys, everywhere we go, it's very rare that I agree to show up someplace and then can't make it or didn't make it. I almost always make my gigs. It's one of the heartbreaks of COVID, because I lost 20 gigs, right? $20,000 worth of gigs lost in one day. And I was like, what about all the money we were going to raise for all these nonprofits? It broke my heart. And I had the difficulty of figuring out how to use Zoom as a musician, because usually a Zoom meeting, it would drown out the music. So you could only hear my voice. It made it really frustrating, depressing, sad, because I couldn't share my gift the way I'm used to sharing it. That was the story I told myself. Then I told myself, someday I'll be able to be present to one another, be fully present to someone, and they're going to ask me to honor my elders and honor my ancestors, and I will be ready. That's why I could so confidently say, yeah, I can do that. I can be that. I can fulfill that impossible need. And I felt them behind me in the trees. I felt them in front of me, all around me. They didn't come from above. That is something I clarify. They come from where we are. They are equal to us. My love for my elders and my ancestors is my God. Not that they are above me, my elders and my ancestors are above me, but that love, oh my goodness. Their love for me and my love for them is my God. The great mystery is my God. I could go on and on and on. We've got other places to be. I hope I met your needs. I hope that's the intention. Let it be known that you met my needs. You have met my needs and the needs of Lori. I know, I can see it, the peace in her eyes. It's been a real blessing.
How about we give him a unity blessing? Lori, could you come up here?
Yes.
Give you a blessing. Love, appreciate, bless in the Christ. You ready? Lori and Swil Kanin, we love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you. Amen. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Well done, Hank.
And in a very informal way, you can throw it in your violin case.
Yeah. Here, no. Let's note how this is done, right? I received this with all my heart, and I pass it on to Lori.